They were thin iron links, worn smooth by time and misery, biting into the wrists of the Apache woman as she was pushed forward into the dust of the ranch yard. The sun hung low and cruel, and every eye followed her, some with suspicion, some with fear, some with the quiet hunger of judgment. She did not lift her head. She had learned long ago that hope was a dangerous thing to carry where men held guns and laws were written against her blood. Then a small voice broke the silence. "Papa, we need a mother." The words did not come from the men. They came from the porch, where two little girls stood barefoot, their dresses faded, their hair tied with uneven ribbons. They stepped down together, hand in hand, and before anyone could stop them, they reached out, not to the chains, but to the woman wearing them. The cowboy froze. The world seemed to hold its breath. His name was Thomas Hale, a widower of 3 years, hardened by grief and prairie wind. He had buried his wife under a cottonwood tree after fever took her, leaving him with 2 daughters and a hollow ache that never truly closed. Since then, the ranch had been run on routine and restraint, meals eaten in silence, laughter carefully rationed so it would not hurt too much when it faded. He had not asked for this. The sheriff had brought the Apache woman at dusk, claiming she was part of a raiding band, though no stolen goods were found on her. "Temporary holding," the sheriff said, shifting his weight uncomfortably. "Until the judge comes through next week. Keep her chained. She's dangerous." Thomas had nodded because that was what men like him did. They nodded, even when their stomachs twisted. Now his daughters stood inches from the prisoner. "Girls," he said sharply, fear cutting through his voice, "come back here." But the woman looked up then. Her eyes were dark and deep, holding more sorrow than anger, more exhaustion than hate. Dirt streaked her face, and a bruise bloomed along her cheekbone, purple against copper skin. Her black hair hung loose, tangled, a few strands caught in the iron collar at her neck. She looked not like a threat, but like someone who had been running from the world for too long and finally been caught. The girls did not flinch. "You look sad," the younger one said softly. The woman swallowed. Her voice, when it came, was barely a whisper. "I am." The sheriff cleared his throat. "See, talking already. Best keep your distance." But the older girl, no more than 8, took another step forward. "Mama used to look sad too," she said. "Before she went to sleep forever." The chains rattled again as the woman shifted, her shoulders trembling. Something broke inside Thomas Hale. That night, the woman was locked in the old tack room, the chains secured to a beam. Thomas lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the wind and the distant sounds of the prairie. He told himself he was doing the right thing. He told himself laws were laws. Yet every time he closed his eyes, he saw his daughter's hands reaching out, saw the way the woman had looked at them, not with calculation, but with a kind of aching recognition. In the morning, he brought her water. Then bread. She took both with quiet dignity, nodding once. "My name is Naya," she said. "I did not raid anyone." "I know," he replied before he could stop himself. Days passed. The sheriff did not return. The judge was delayed. The chains stayed, but Thomas loosened them enough so she could sit by the door. The girls began bringing her scraps of food, wildflowers, little stories about school lessons and chickens and how lonely the house felt without a mother's song. Naya listened. She told them stories too, about mountains that touched the sky, about stars that were ancestors watching over the living, about a mother who braided her hair and taught her to be strong even when the world was cruel. She never spoke of her capture. She never asked for pity. At night, Thomas watched from a distance, his chest tight with emotions he could not name. The ranch felt different, warmer, like something long buried was breathing again. But the frontier was not kind to changes like that. Neighbors came, whispering, "You're keeping a savage on your land," one man said. "Your girls aren't safe." Others warned him of the law, of reputation, of danger. Thomas nodded again, like he always did, but this time his nod felt hollow. The breaking point came when a group of men rode in unannounced, rifles slung over their shoulders. Vigilantes. They claimed justice. They claimed fear. "She killed settlers," one of them spat. "We'll hang her now and save the judge the trouble." The girls screamed. Naya stood, chains clinking, and stepped in front of them instinctively, shielding them with her own body. "Do not touch them," she said, her voice steady despite the terror in her eyes. Thomas did not think. He acted. He stepped between the guns and the woman, his own rifle raised, hands shaking but resolve firm. You'll go through me first, he said. Silence followed, thick and dangerous. For the first time since his wife's death, Thomas felt whole, not because he was fearless but because he was choosing something. Choosing kindness over custom, humanity over hate. The men backed down. Fear had not won that day. When the judge finally arrived, the truth came with him. Naya had been captured while trying to lead children away from violence. Witnesses spoke. Lies unraveled. The chains were removed. Naya did not run. She stayed. Not because she owed Thomas anything, but because the girls cried when they thought she might leave, and because the ranch, once cold and quiet, now echoed with laughter again. Healing did not come all at once. There were hard days. Stairs in town. Old wounds that ached in the night. But slowly, trust grew. Naya helped tend the land. She sang as she worked, soft songs that carried through the fields. The girls slept better. Thomas learned how to smile without pain following close behind. One evening, as the sun dipped low, the girls climbed into Naya's lap and wrapped their arms around her. "Will you stay?" they asked. Naya looked at Thomas. He nodded, eyes shining. "I will," she said. The frontier did not change overnight. But in one small place, chains had become hands, fear had become family, and a broken home had found its heart again. And the message carried forward like a quiet promise. Sometimes, the mother you need comes from the place the world told you to fear most, and love is the bravest choice a person can make.